Hey guys, Christina here. Welcome to the Goddess Conjurer podcast and show. Today, I want to talk a little bit about change and manifesting. Last night I did a masterclass, a free masterclass, and it was all about creating vision, intentional vision for 2022. And manifesting and creating vision is actually like a little bit more vast than people realize. And there's layers to it, just like in anything, right? But basically, it was starting with the basics. Where do we start and getting there? Where do we start and even creating something that we want in our life? So quite often what things that I talk about are hangups, right? We have to be prepared within this workshop. I talked about what action steps are you going to take? Are you willing to take to get where you need to go, and know that things are going to show up, parts of you, self-limiting beliefs, those kinds of things that are going to maybe hinder your growth or try and stop you in a way. Right? These are procrastination. These are our worthiness. These are like all of these things that show up for us. So a major thing that is a reason why these things continue to show up for us again and again is because of our attachment to them. So I wanted to talk about attachment and non-attachment. In yoga, non-attachment is part of the 8 limbs of yoga, which are essentially these moral codes or guides practiced as a yogini. Okay, so there's 8 limbs to follow. And so one of these is non-attachment. So why is this essential to any kind of inner work? And that's because when we're attached to things, we get stuck on them. And then we become bound by them. Yes. And that is where we get hung up. So we want to let go of these attachments. So when we want to create change in our life, we must do so by releasing and letting go of the many aspects about ourselves. These aspects are our attachments. And when we're free, we are practicing non-attachment. And unfortunately, some of the biggest things we're hanging on to are actually the hardest to let go of because they're part of our conditioning, our core beliefs, and have maybe even made up some of what we consider our values. We have a lot of self-limiting beliefs around shoulding ourselves. You should be a certain way. You shouldn't do that. Someone shouldn't behave that way. You shouldn't like those sorts of things. You shouldn't speak that kind of way. And those become values, right? It's my belief that people shouldn't blah, 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 blah. These are also attachments. So not all of our values and attachments are serving our growth. The plain and simple facts are, if you want to change, you cannot change and be the same old you. It's just not possible. So you can say oh, I want to make changes. I want to do this. I want to do that. But you have to be prepared for what's going to show itself to you when you go to make these changes. We hear it all the time of people never change, right? And this is because of the heavy attachments and beliefs. Most often self-limiting beliefs that, we cannot live or be a certain way. And usually those are you can't be anything great, wonderful, incredible, right? We don't see a lot of people. I mean, we do now more and more. And if you're watching this, obviously you have some belief in your greatness. But growing up, what were those things attached to? So I know that growing up and even being grown up, because I've been grown up for a long time now, we're taught that people are too proud of themselves, they're full of themselves, they're cocky, they're arrogant, they're self-absorbed, they're selfish. And because we have such fear around being judged, we don't dare step into that place. That feeling empowered in who we are carries the stigma around all of these negative things. So in feeling great about who you are and what you're capable of, because we're so deeply seated with these fears of being disliked and having judgment against us, holds us back, right? If you grew up with a parent who talked about how self-absorbed or arrogant someone was, or, just they were just super disliked because of their will to take care of themselves, their ability to manifest greatness in their life. We have a negative attachment to that, right? We have a belief around that. So here's the thing. This is good. This is really good to know because it's quite freeing. You're being judged and disliked all the time anyways. Like, people don't like you. People are judging you. So just put some effort into making changes in the life that you want, because it's really nobody's business. And if we took like one of the 4 agreements and we stopped taking things personally, we would know that everybody's reacting to their own circumstances and their own belief systems, right? We could let go of that too. So you might as well show up for yourself and get yourself into some change, because you're going to be judged anyways. Somebody is going to be judging you, and that's on them. Judgment from someone else always comes on a belief that they believe about themselves, that their fear, right? Their judgment. I'm just thinking, like, why not show up as the same old you in your morning routine, your job, your relationships, and in the changes you want to make? So when you want to make changes, you want to move forward, show up as the new you, right? What does that person look like? What do they act like? Activate your senses, get into what that person is as a being, as a consciousness, right? Fill yourself up with that consciousness. And maybe it's the old you before conditioning. A lot of the time when we're starting to like manifest or become who we are, we're becoming our true self in a way that is honoring who we were before conditioning, before self-limiting beliefs showed up, and before we lost sight, before we lost the ability to put ourselves first. So there may be a playful, fun, and uninhibited you who knows it's okay to be just who they are, who knows they're enough. And this is non-attachment. This is letting go of not only the belief, but also any expectation of good or bad after you show up. It's just being, right? We're not showing up just because it has to turn out a certain way. We have to let go of the idea of how it's going to turn out, and we have to just put it into the universe that it's going to turn out. Often this is like shows up a lot in needing validation from people in our lives, right? We have an expectation of how our partner should react, or how we want them to react. These are all just because we want these needs filled within ourselves that were not fulfilled within childhood. And then we seek them extra in everything that we do, whether it's our relationships with our boss, with our partners, with our children, however it is. So let go, right? Just show up and let go of the expectation. And it's a complete letting go of everything, a total release. Takes the pressure off, right? Just trust the process, trust the universe day by day. So keep practicing. And if you go back to where I started this, all things in yoga are considered this practice, right? And I talked about this last night too. Everything's a practice. So there's no failing within this. This is a practice, yoga practice, meditation practice, spiritual practice. The idea is just keep going. I hope this was helpful. If you're enjoying these little videos, please like the video, subscribe, comment if you feel free. Have a great week. Be doing another upload later this week because I have 2 special guests I'm recording with this week. So I hope you get to catch that. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.